Hello, anybody out there? Welcome to Off the Charts Trading. I'm going to go over some charts today. If we get enough people on, maybe do a couple fun things. I know that some people have been watching this at a later time, and that's cool. Before I get rolling, I'll just say this is the Bootcamp Media YouTube channel. It's more than just stock videos. I also do some card breaks. It's also a music review podcast. Check it out. Search around. Send me a message if you don't know me and you're just finding this at a later date. Shoot me a message. Music Period Podcast. Costa Collectibles. And most importantly, what we're doing today, Off the Charts Trading. If you are finding us at a later date and you're wondering what this is all about, we are a Discord server and we help each other trade. We make alerts, but it's more than that. We also teach people, we teach each other how to read charts and how to find plays, and I don't know, it's like a little bit of a family in there. So if you're finding us at a later date, hit the comment section, let me know. We'll get you in there. Alright? Very fair pricing. You can make back what you pay in a month probably in your first 5 minutes of your first trade, depending on how much money you put in. Alright. So I guess just to start, I did make a couple high-risk alerts this week. I called F. What's up, Johnny? I called F and I called BB. F, you know, kind of a slower guy. 1 or 2% move. We ended up topping out at $12.99 today. I believe the premium hit 25. It gave us like 70-something% within the first 20 minutes or so. And then it kind of did a little zigzag action for the rest of the day. But if you look at the daily, setup is still 100% intact. It's coming right up to 20, that red line there. Things look good. Things look good. Now, with the high riskers, we know we expire on Friday. So we do need to be wary of that. Cool thing is, let me see here. The volume was massive today. IV is still in check, around 47%. See what our delta is. Whew, that's great. That's good delta. We're getting all good smooth health, man. There's no time restraints here. Our premium, that's a good delta right there. Theta's in check. You know, it's a little high for that low of a premium. But I think with the upward movement here, we're looking good. We're looking really good. Could hit a little bit of resistance, actually right where we hit resistance today, so that makes sense. 13. But I'm liking the setup. I'm digging it. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Wednesday, so we got 3 days. I'm digging it. I think it can give us more. I know that most of you are still in F, probably took profits early, which is great. I did the same thing, but I still got a chunk. BB on the other hand. So what I was trying to do here is I was trying to get a play up to the 20. I'll take today's red candle out of there, and it looks like a pretty good setup, right? Like not bad, nice and curly. And today it just kind of hit a wall. I guess that wall is this resistance here. Makes sense, around the 934, 940, let's call it 940. So we're obviously going to need to push through that to give us a chance to get up to the 20 by the end of the week, which we don't really need. We just really need to make an attempt maybe at this line. 970 would be good. I think that would get us our premium back. I believe that closed at 24. I believe that closed at 24. Delta's decent for what the premium is, 85, so we could get some movement. 46% there. Volume was the highest on the chain. Let's check out here though. The call to put ratio was huge. So if people were selling calls, they weren't buying puts. And that's a pretty big ratio right there, 53-8. And when I said I wasn't around a lot today, and I apologize for that, but you know, it sucks as an option trader to get a day like you had today on BB, because yeah, it had its initial little pop there, it tried, and then it was just, you know, down 3%. But you look at that action, it's pretty flat. 3% on a $9 stock. You know, not that much. It's not the same as like 3% on the market, obviously, or 3% on something like even Apple. I just don't think it's dead. If we lose 885 this week, our same week is probably dead. You know, we're going to need a really quick bounce up if that were to happen. So with violence. So what we'll do is we'll look at tomorrow's cam levels, and that'll tell us kind of what we need to look for here. So okay, so 890. Let's look at 890 as support. That's our S3. And look at 890 as crucial support. It's intraday support, but where expiry is Friday. I don't want to lose that. And a pop back over 9, let's say 10 would be great. Johnny says that it's sitting on its 50 EMA on the hourly. Let's throw an EMA on there. Oh, it's weird. You guys can't see the boxes. I don't have them captured on there. There we go. Yeah, sitting right there, huh? Not that I doubted you. I just wanted to see it. Yep. So let's hold on to that, eh? It's about, let's call it. It's 890. I mean, it's just sitting right on it. I'm still gonna say that 890 level is going to be crucial, and then that 885 on the 50 SMA on the hourly seems right in line with our S3 support tomorrow. It's key. A bounce up to this hourly VPOC would be lovely. 926. We're going to need to bust through that. I don't think this play is dead, but whew. Smooth Health asks, are the cam levels the same as what is frequently seen on Craig's charts in the market review? No, they are not. These cam levels I use them on just intraday. This right here is a 12-minute chart, and the cam levels, what they do is they populate, like, so when the action was going on today, they populated for tomorrow's. So these are today's cam levels right here, and they're populating tomorrow. So tomorrow is tight. Like, we're going up, we're going down, something, it's got to break one way or the other. And these, it does that. Like, so tomorrow, the ones for Thursday will be populating. And it forms a non-lagging indicator a little bit of, it's more like Fibonacci than anything. And it's all based on an equation of the previous day's actions. And so the red, when you put it on your chart, it's gonna look different than mine. I've got them color coded in a certain way, but up here is R5, R4, R3, R2, R1, R for resistance. This is where you would close right here. and then S1, S2, S3, S4, S5. S stands for support, and R3, S3 are the two important. Like, that's your channel. If you're breaking R3, you're typically going to see R4. If you're breaking S3, you're typically going to see S4. As you can see right here, this is Monday's action. You can kind of get a good idea of how it follows here. So we opened, we got here, we tested the R. Yeah, it started to use the R3 as support, busted through. Now it's using R4. It's I covered them on a couple videos ago, and it's a great tool. It's amazing how accurate they actually are. They're really, really perfect for something like futures, but I think that they should find a home on any intraday chart. Like, I don't know, maybe even an hour or lower. I don't really like them that much on an hourly. It's not enough candles, you know. But even like a half hour is fine. Excuse me. Awesome, man. All right, so BB, it's going to be tight. It's going to be a close one. I know that I'm sure there are a few people still in it. I am. Typically, play the law of averages with my alerts, with the high risks. Typically, they do come back, but as traders, we should not always bank on them coming back, as we always preach. So if you cut losses today, good on you. If it does come back, I still think you did the right thing. Okay. I'm just playing the law of averages. I throw money at my alerts, and typically it works out. You know, it's perfect for my style where I can't constantly be watching a chart all day. Set my sells and just kind of let it do its thing. And just as long as I, end up on top at the end, I'm good. I'm happy. Smooth Health, I think that's kind of what you do, don't you? I've seen you in there a couple times talking about how you cut at a certain point and take at a certain point. That's got to be working out pretty decent for you. Was it like 80 and 40? 80 and 50, something like that. Johnny's still in it. I don't hate it. That hourly chart concerns me a little bit. Just because I see your cup and handle that you were talking about in chat, though. Damn, yeah, that could be nice. We see what it did here Monday at 1, or Monday at 3, actually. It basically rejected the hourly VPOC, which is yeah, it does in the long run. I'm sure it gets frustrating. I know when one will dip super far and then come back. But yeah, in the long run, typically does work out. But yeah, I see your cup and handle, Johnny. I dig it. This VPOC has me a little bit concerned. We don't necessarily need 950. It would be nice to get as close as we could to that 950 strike. But that VPOC does concern me a little bit. Let's go. I'm just going to pretend I didn't see that 4-hour chart. I'd like to see some big action. Did it go down 50%? Oh, it did. Yeah, it did. Bummer, dude. God damn it. I hate that. Even if it does come back and win, it bugs me. Sorry that one didn't work out. So your 80% didn't hit on F. Just missed, huh? Just missed. Unless you were able to get in a penny cheaper than some of us. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff we can look at with BB. I'm looking at 890 and 910. That 20-cent range. That's what I'll be watching for in the morning. And for F, I'll be looking at 1282 and 1302. So 13. Makes sense. We get that break of 13 early. We cruising. Just missed it. Yeah. Damn. If we can get that ES break of 40.75, let's say, that'll set us up. Keep going there. Once we get a little bit of movement here on today's levels for the market, this is just S&P 500 futures. It's what I follow. Craig follows SPY. I do too. I like SPY as well. I'll trade spreads on SPY. Spreads on SPY. Spreads on SPY every so often. ES is just where I gravitate to because ultimately where I'd like to end up is trading futures. So once we start getting some movement on ES, tomorrow's cam levels will start spreading out. Right here you can see the cam levels moving here, depicted by the action here. Nope, starting to dip a little bit. All right. So before I dig into anything, Neo's Fogman on. Let's take a look at Neo. What did Johnny see on Neo? It pulled for me too. It was on my end of day watch list. What was the one you called? I'm just now seeing your trend there, Johnny, for BlackBerry. Yep. That's a lot of sense there. Gotta bust through that shit. What was Neo? 41 call. I like that. I like that because then you don't even really have to worry about the 20 here. Even though that's curling, I'm not even really worried about that 20 anyway. I like it. I like the action off the 200 there. That's nice. Never really got to the point of super unhealthy. I mean, that is a nasty drop right there, obviously, but I mean, you look at something like PLTR, like that just can't recover. PLTR is just stuck. You know, I kind of put this in the same class with Neo. So when I look at that, Neo just looks healthier. I like that to see it pop up to. Is it the exponential? Oh yeah. Yep, what's that? Forgot to put that on there. I kind of like Neo to go up to like almost 44. Did you do the 41? That's a good call. That's good. That's a fair theta for the price of the premium too. It's a good call, John. I like it. Okay, really just got to fight with that 20, but where your call's 41, you don't really even have to worry about it as long as the movement stays upward. And again, I love having a blueprint on my chart here. I'm looking at 40.55 resistance and 39.45 support for tomorrow. And that's what I'm looking at for Neo. One chart that really stuck out to me today that kind of dug. I wanted it to close over this 20 and it ended up not closing over the 20, but was BABA. I like how It's finding support in the same spot it did here. I really wanted it over that 20. And also, option contracts are a little pricier than I typically like to call, but I did like the volume here on this 235. If anyone, I guess I could have called it. That's even cheaper than the Neo that Johnny mentioned. As I'd say, high riskers are already so high risk. I mean, they're named that for a reason, that I don't like to do a higher, even a dollar or more premium. It just adds more risk. And you could also look at it as like, okay, you could either buy 3 30-cent contracts or $1 contract. Is really all the same thing. But I guess this is how I've done things, how I've gravitated to calling these things. Try to limit the risk as much as possible on very risky plays. Plug was another one that pulled for me. It didn't seem like it was quite ready yet. I do think it has room up to like 37. I just wasn't confident that it was going to do it in 3 days. And again, I would have wanted this 35. It's a little higher. I maybe would have gone with 36. But it just didn't seem quite ready for me. This is the one I almost did. And it looks like, yeah, that makes sense, Johnny. 10 days. Not ideal action in the after hours, but whatever, it's after hours. I liked CCIV. I liked the action up over the VPOC. The only thing I didn't like is that it was sandwiched between the VPOC and the 20. I really do think that if we break this 20 here, you see what happens at this level right here, boom. I do think that this should be on watch over 25.25. Keep CCIV on watch. I didn't love it for a same weaker. I probably would have done this 25 if I did it. I like the volume there. Yeah, that was the other thing. I didn't like the theta. I didn't like the high theta on that. I think maybe even, I mean, we break 25.25. I do think that 30 is right around the corner. And then if it can follow this action that it did in like February. I'm not looking for an exact, but I just like how it can make that big move, and then it created support right exactly where the 50 is now. There's precedent. There's precedent for this move here, and it's very similar to what it looked like at the end of January, beginning of February. So I've got CCIV on my heavy watch. Didn't fall in love with any contracts, but I'm keeping it on watch. I like the potential of the setup here quite a bit. EWZ is something that's pulled for me 2 days in a row now. I ignored it on Monday, which it seems like I shouldn't have done that. I believe that the one that I was looking at was, I think it might have been the 34. Yeah, it was probably the 33.5 or the 34. 33.5 had itself a day. Yeah, I guess I didn't miss out too much. Yeah, I missed it. Popped to 90. To 54. Well, you know. And then it popped for me again today, and I ignored it because I didn't like it how it was retreating back under the 50. But I will say that the setup is pretty decent for that. EWZ is good for a if you're not looking for like a monster move. I've had EWZs that gave me multiple 100%, but you know, EWZ I have found, and maybe the data will prove me wrong here, but like a good like 50%er, 60%er is EWZ. This was another one that pulled for me. I was surprised that it did. I think it was just because probably this massive action up here all the way to 1377 probably gave it a lot of volume on the contracts. And then when I looked, it was doing this big old dip here, and then I mean the action in after hours was pretty good. I don't know what the volume was like. Nothing to write home about really. And then I looked at the daily, and I didn't like how it rejected off the 20. And you know, typically if I was looking for a few weeks out or whatever, I'd say okay. But where I'm looking for a same week contract, I don't want it. I don't want to see it messing around with any lines. I either want to see it with plenty of room to go test an average or a resistance, or you know, anything like that. Then you know, I want to see it with room. I want it over an average or plenty of room to go test one. I just don't like for a same weeker seeing it test and fail. Doesn't mean it can't work out. Setup isn't terrible. I just didn't. I didn't want to deal with it. Johnny wants me to check out KO. Jeez, I got some old lines drawn on KO here. Oh, what a weird yearly chart you are. This is what I get for not really watching the market during the day. Seems like a lot of these tickers followed the same trajectory of dying towards the end of the day. The V volume profile is showing resistance here, 53.29. This is where all this big jumble up mess here in between November and January, early January. Overall, I mean, it's in a clear, obvious uptrend. I like how the CCI is acting. Earnings are in 2 weeks, 13 days. Could have a nice run up. Is Coca-Cola? Contracts for K are usually pretty favorable, like that 53.5. Probably would have been a pretty fun one. Even going in the money at 53 could have been a good one. The theta, the deltas are like double the premium, so a 50-cent move will get you 100%. Thetas are favorable. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to argue with that one, Johnny, at all. I dig it. I don't love a big old tall wick on a daily action, but the fact that it's still closed where it closed is pretty good. I think it looks pretty good. I'd be looking for a break of 53.40 or a hold of 53 for entry tomorrow. You're selling a 53.5? Yeah, okay. See, I mean, that big old wick there. You sell a lot of contracts on Smooth Health. I'm going to have to pick your brain on that. Gonna have to pick your brain. Poor man's cover calls on KO all the time. Yeah. Must be a chart you study a lot. Clearly. Don't mind him, he sells everything. Hey, whatever works. Whatever works. Alright. Has anybody got anything else they want me to go over? See what futures is doing. Look at the daily on the S&P. It really is something to behold. This Fibonacci is outdated now. Oh, man, it really is something. If I didn't know any better, though, it does kind of look like a topper. Could be. I'm sorry, Johnny. Yes to what? And I realize that I probably forgot the question I asked. You know, I don't really get into like, I think I've mentioned this on the last video. It's not really my strong point to do candle patterns and all that. And I'm not saying to sell, obviously. My bad, man. But it does kind of look like a topper there. And it's a pretty big run the last 4 days here. Alright, well, if no one has anything else, let me do something here. Let's make a stock scanner. What do you think? Guess we could do an option one. Johnny, when you're trying to find a contract, what's the delta? What do you want on that delta? Or Rob, or Fogman, or whoever's on. All right. I'm going to make a call scanner. We're going to look for deltas. Over 25. We're going to go a minimum. Yeah. Once I asked it, I was like, you know, it really does vary on what you're looking for on the contracts. I'm going to try to make an option scanner that scans for at least 2 weeks out. So let's go 14 days out. crap. I'm realizing right now that it's been entirely too long since I have made one. Holy hell. Let's go. For 318,000. Let's go for 250 volume. That knocks us down to 2,610. Let's do another option one here. Let's try to get... That only knocked off one. Let's go implied volatility. Let's go 200. Between 40 and 50 is ideal. I agree. Let's narrow that down. Let's try to, yeah. Let's go with yours. Let's go 40. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make this so it pulls the tightest amount possible. Change that to 15. Let's get a little bit more volume on there. Let's go 150. Alright, so now we're down to 838. That's good. Alright, so we got our delta, we got the days to expiry, we got our theta. Got our theta, we got our volume. We're looking for calls, so we got an implied volatility of 15 to 150. Now let's try a stock option. Let's go. We want a stock that has a volume of at least 750,000. Doesn't knock us down very much. Let's go a stock with at least 1 million volume. Knocked us down about 100. Looks like Apple was the play. We'll see. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna keep knocking this down. 6 new scan. Alright. I'm just gonna add filters until it knocks us down for us. And then we'll know when we've gone too far. Stock. Let's go. I don't know what sizzle index is. That's some TD thing. Let's see. I want a stock that's up. at least 1%. All right. You know what? I just want a stock that's up. That knocked Apple off for us. Price movement will lower number. Right. Let's go with a study. Let's find ones that have unusual volume. Volume increased at least 20% from its typical average over 50. But let's do that with an hour. Whoa. Well, that knocked us down. Let's move that to 10%. Okay. Let's go UPS, TSN, A, APPH, MAT, and Geo. See if we can find something all these charts have in common here. Whoa. Ooh. Okay. How about Matt? I've been testing out 1-2 candles with momentum, so high eyes on back-to-back candles. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying here for. And that really knocked it right down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tickers. Just the volume. Kind of dig Matt's Mattel setup. It's really kind of sexy. Options are shit on it. So what was the contract that the scanner pulled? 21 for 521. All right. Okay. So what I want to do, to say half the yeah. What I want to do is, you're never gonna get a perfect scan right off the rip. Like this is just the start of something. You know what I mean? On our next video, I just kind of want to take a look and see what these did. I'm going to take a snapshot of my hour. Geez, that was painful. Yeah, I mean this is going smoothly as hell, Johnny. The first one of these bunch of views, they have trickled down quite a bit. So yeah, what I want to do is that was just the quickest. I mean, you're not going to get a perfect scanner by doing it that way. I mean, the scanners that I used took months and months and months of back testing. But the way I did it is I would just do something like that. And then I would just make a watch list, and then I would just track them. And then kind of pinpoint what happened with each one. Says the guy with the perfect scan. Well, it's not perfect. It's pretty good though. But yeah, this is, I mean, it's a pretty simple one, but I'm really interested to see, excuse me, what these will look like next week. So right now, I'm going to take a picture of that watch list right there, so we'll know what they were when it pulled. And look at it. Did you backtest using any software? It was all my own tracking, actually. It was tedious. It was Excel sheets, and I basically have my whole life on a zip drive, and I always keep it around my neck. Like all my record keeping of trades and everything, like all my journal. I shouldn't even say that online, but I had everything on there, just massive amounts of data, and then the damn thing broke, so I don't even have it anymore. But I do have all the scans still, so few. It was a lot of work. It was obsessive though. Like I like couldn't focus on anything else. It was it was an interesting time in my life when I got into trading. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, I just had pages and pages and pages of back tests. I was just keeping track every single day, going through 50 watch lists every day and recording what the high was and what it closed at and everything, and just trying to figure out what scanners are going to work. And I have a handful that do work. It's just the one tends to be the best. I swear, for the first year I was using that thing, the only things that lost on it were AMD and VXX. That was it. It was the only two I saw lose. Now I've seen a couple lose on it. Markets change, I never like fully expected it to be 100%, but I'll tell you what, it's still frustrating when it loses. BB was on it, so BB was on it, so we'll see. So yeah, I will name this one, I'll name it 4620 live. 4620 live. And we'll see what it looks like next week. Could be fun. And then what will be fun for me is going through and seeing if it works and if it didn't, and if it does, if we've got a bunch of green. We see that I mean, some of these UPS contracts are silly high. Like, I think probably one thing I can see that we're going to want to do is put a cap on maybe the ask. So the ones that I'm super interested in seeing are what Matt and Geo and APPH do. So is that scan the one used for high risk or the regular option place? So the one I'm talking about is high risk. That's the one. I don't call every single thing that hits it anymore. There was a time where I was, and the majority of them are hitting, but since it's lost a couple times, I'm a little bit more selective. And I, most of the time I go, okay, I could have called that, I guess. There was a span where it was 100% correct. Now we're looking at, probably 85, 90% correct. Yankees are kicking the shit out of the Orioles. Yeah. Yeah, the other thing, yeah. So Smooth House says, yeah, I remember when the high risk first started, they were about 10 per day. I was also calling stuff that was hitting my other scanners when that was happening. Because the cool thing about my main scanner is it very rarely pulls more than 4. There are some days it pulls none. There are some days it pulls 1, 2, 3. I mean, I can see it get up to 10. It'd have to be a pretty special day for that to happen. But the cool thing about, I call it the master. I think everybody in the room has a different name for it. But it's selective. It's very selective, and that's what makes it cool. When I was calling 10 a day, I was pulling stuff from other scanners, and my other scanners are okay. They're fine. I trust them sometimes, but admittedly, when you're making official alerts, as not many people really understand what that's like. Me, Johnny, Craig, Vic. It's like kind of another, it's a whole nother level to trading, and it's a little stressful. I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, like when I'm like when they first started, I'm making 10 a day. Like I was probably feeling pretty confident. It's all like and how I was feeling. And what I was seeing, I was clearly liking. I wasn't just throwing darts at a wall, but the days of me calling 10 at a time are long gone. Long gone. People in a way hold you accountable. That is 100% true. This is a very what have you done for me lately kind of thing. I can go 20 for 21 week at an average of 300%. And if I get a loser the next week, it's pretty, it's kind of lonely, I'm not gonna lie. But I love it. I really do. This is not woe is me. This is just the truth. It's just kind of what it's like. Stressful. It's a lot of weight on your shoulders. It's people's money. It's not something I take lightly at all. So I just try to be as careful as possible. I will admit that on like a Monday, I'm a little bit more loose. I'm more confident in my scanners. And if something pulls on a Monday and I like how the market's looking and all that, like, yeah, maybe I'll call 3. Maybe I'll call 4. And then there are some days on a Thursday where I'm like, screw it, we're taking a chance. And I call a couple. That's going to go more and more away. Calling something on a Thursday, even if it works out, is just, that's not really what we should be doing, So when I see stuff on a Thursday, that's just what I'm going to mention in chat. I'll be like, hey, this could be a fun little gamble. If you want to buy a scratch ticket or whatever. But yeah, so anyway, throw in chat if you want me to look at something else. I totally will. I'm not trying to run away yet. I've been live for an hour. I will cover anything else. But setting up for next week, I'll be doing the Tuesday 8:45 again. What we'll do is I'll go over any high riskers that are open. I'll probably go over F and BB again. We'll go over this new scan, see what our stuff did, and probably tool around with that. If anybody has anything else they want me to go over, throw it in the live videos channel. I'll gladly go over whatever. I'll even, what I'd like to do is I'll find something if nobody puts any ideas that I can focus like, 15-20 minutes on and go over something that I think would be beneficial for all of us, like really like kind of dig in. And then of course I always want to like have some of this video opened up for questions and me charting and stuff like that. But yeah, I kind of look forward to the scan thing. I love making new scans, and I love seeing what works and what doesn't. And I think that if you guys are down, I know there's only a couple of you on, but if more people will get involved, I envision like kind of having like a server scanner that could maybe work. Like I don't believe that there's a magic button in this market, but or an easy button, whatever. But I do think it's fun to mess around and have something where you can press a button and find stuff. That's the whole point of a scanner. I love that stuff. So I want to thank everybody for joining. If you're watching at a later date, thanks for watching. The tips and donations, they are much appreciated. I really appreciate that quite a bit. It's not expected at all, but thank you. And Bitcoin's going down, huh? Shit. So yeah, that's really about it. If you're into other things in the stock market, check out Coastal Collectibles. Message me if you're interested. And oh, okay, Johnny wants Piton. All right. I like it. Excuse me. It's coming up on resistance right now on our trusty fib, Johnny. I like it though. I like the setup. It's over that top balance beam of the volume profile. It's bullish up to the 38.2 on the yearly fib. It looks good. It looks like it really wants to challenge its 50. And if it can go through that, man, I'm telling you, I would like to see volume pick up a little bit. Since this sell-off here, the volume has only trickled up a little bit, and it's been okay. So the volume kind of started that a little bit. The only thing, it's a weird one, huh? You've got downtrend here. Yeah, so it broke there. Let's get rid of that. Man, I had a big day today. Holy hell. 109, oh, that's a big range. It's a $7 range on that stock. That's nutty. So obviously a clear, decisive break of that 38.2 would be great. Let's just say a clear break of 116 would be fantastic. Let's take a look at what the cam is saying here. Again, a big old range. It had such a good range today that the cam levels are really spread out. So you get a big range of 113 to 118. So you've got a $5 range before it even really kind of makes a decision. Hopefully this break of 118, just kind of in line with that there, huh? I think a break of 118 or a hold of 113. Which is right here. That's well within the daily trend, this little mini trend it's got going on since the end of March. It's bullish. I dig it. I do. That fib resistance doesn't even really bother me. I like it. It's a good setup. Peloton contracts are a little weird, if I remember correctly. Not weird, just a little calls puts, pretty much dead even. Yeah, a little pricey, I guess is what I meant there. Go out to next week. Yeah. Can maybe do a spread. Spreads are ridiculous for next week. Pricey. I like it for shares. It's a nice chart though. Definitely something to keep on watch. All right, I'm gonna call it there. Like I said, next week we'll go through. I'll try to come up with a topic that I can really kind of dig into for a few minutes. We'll go over any open high riskers. We'll go over F and BBC where they wrapped up. We'll go through this new scan. Go over what it pulled. See if we can take anything out. See if we can add anything. And then yeah, do that. Edit the scan and kind of go from there. Might be a whole different scan by the time we're done with it. All right. But I do appreciate everyone's time, and I hope everybody has a good rest of their night. And tag me if you need me tomorrow in the chat. I got crazy stuff going on at work. COVID has not gone away. But you know, I'm there. If you tag me, it might take me a little bit, but I'll see it. So all right. I tend to ramble at the end of videos. I apologize. I'll see everybody later. Thank you.